The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business. Online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the Upmarket Studio at Gasworks in beautiful San Buenaventura, California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Upmarket Media. Mark Corcoran roped you into one more podcast.
You did, man. Here I am. Let's do it.
Do you remember to keep the mic a little closer to your mouth?
Or I can try that, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. And you know what? Also, we have a producer here, but she's also joining us actually on the pod, on the video. Chelsea Froelich. Chelsea, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, the podcast looks a lot better today.
Have the hangovers subsided?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
it was a bit of a haze for a while, but we're back to reality now.
So in our last episode, we detailed our big grand opening party that we were going to do for our space here at Gasworks. And we recorded that right before we did the party. And how did it go?
Man, party has been done and we're,
still paying. We're still paying for it.
We are, yeah. In so many ways we're paying for that party. But for me, big picture, I think for all of us, the party was a huge success. It was a ton of fun, ton of great feedback.
Yeah, I think everyone really appreciated it too, which was like,
yeah.
It was very nice to see our clients excited about our growth, which is nice.
First thing most people said is, "Oh, congratulations, this is awesome for you guys," and it's, "Oh my God, this is Chelsea, the one and only Chelsea."
A lot of that.
I kept saying that all night. That was like my favorite thing. Wait, where's Chelsea? This is Chelsea. Oh my God, Chelsea.
Right. Oh, I thought you'd be blonde.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to be as young as you are. I was like, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're actually not that young.
I'm not that young, and that's what I kept saying. She's like, well, anyway, it was funny.
It was like, I do think people were genuinely happy for us. And I think also what I saw just on people's faces, because they would walk from the front and it's a layout where you have to go down this long corridor and it's actually this giant green wall and it's exterior. And so there's just, all these succulents, like 40 feet of succulents that you have to walk through. And people would come down and then they see this courtyard where the party was and you could just see their eyes. It was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And I had some friends come who are not in the real estate industry, just came as friends. And I went up to them and I could just tell by the look on their face, like, oh man, this is nice.
Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think the studio and the whole complex here is nicer than people are thinking. If they know about it, they realize what it is. But for people who've never been here, they're like, wow, this is really impressive.
And we're super lucky with the courtyard that we share, that we've talked about, that just ended up being like a perfect kind of entertaining space that's right adjacent to our studio. So people came into that and then like kind of a little puzzled, like, what is this? Where's your space? Is this all yours? Like, and then to walk people through the studio. And it was just like, it was really fun to get the feedback.
Yeah. And it was like we had the open bar, which I think was a great success.
Yeah, it was.
And so we had our signature cocktails. So we had the Upmarket, the Up Margarita. And then you could have it Chelsea style, which meant you have mezcal instead of tequila.
That's right.
And then there was Mark's Mojito, which no one drank.
Yeah.
A few people did. Mark had one.
People really got into the margaritas.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and then the problem was that we were only allowed for the $5,000 we spent with them. They were only allowed to have 2 signature cocktails. But then, because I finally figured out the cocktail I wanted, and they're like, no. But we can have it off menu. We can have the ingredients.
Yeah, they were nice about that.
Yeah. So I had the cocktail I wanted was an Army Navy, which no one knows about this guy.
It's a head-scratching cocktail.
I'd only had it a couple times in my life, but it's gin, lemon juice, bitters, and orgeat. Which is the almond syrup. And it is phenomenal.
It's really good.
Yeah, but when you describe those ingredients, or you even talking to the bartender, you're like, what?
Yeah. And so they got psyched about it, and we kind of made one, we all tried it before the thing, and everyone was like, this is amazing. And so then we had it in our hip pocket. We can be like, oh, there's actually an off-menu cocktail if you want one.
Secret item.
It's the Reed Special Army Navy. And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, well, you know. And so the bartenders were like, yeah, everyone's coming up and asking for it.
And then everyone ordered that,
yeah,
right?
Everyone ordered that. And
Pretty hilarious.
And there were people who I know no one told. And they're like, well, I heard there was this special cocktail. And so it was the big hit of the party.
And it was so pretty. So I think people were seeing the little dried orange peel. And they're like, what is that?
Yeah, there was a whole there was a dried lemon slice.
Or dried lemon.
Yeah, dehydrated
It was
lemon
funny.
slice.
And then like, you know, we had Nikki there and her husband, Chris, and he got into this like spiced blackberry margarita. That like went viral. Everyone was coming in for that. Like that to me was my favorite drink of the night. That was so good.
Yeah, the blackberry margarita was really good.
Yeah, so it was like, it was just fun, man. It was just fun. And, you know, we did end up drinking a lot, but we also then have a lot of alcohol left over. I think I posted about it on our Instagram. Or the PMRE suite
Watch
at
out, PMRE.
Upmarket suite at PMRE is going to be freaking stocked.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, we just went on the shopping list that the bartenders recommended, right? When that seemed like a lot, but we're like, well, we don't want to be short, so let's just get it.
Are you guys going to have a party?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Well,
like a 4-day party
later. But that goes to show, and I think what we should get into is kind of the logistics of the party and how it worked out for us. And, you know, what if any of our listeners are planning anything like this, because I know we're recommending like, you should do a party. It's like, it's so good for business. It's so good, for, you know, just staying in front of your clients. So we did buy a lot of booze because we thought there was going to be a lot of people. And so just to recap, we had, I think our client list is like 600 deep, 600 people. And we were like, no way can we have that many people.
That was just,
plus ones.
Never going to work.
One, afford it. And two, is just our space isn't big enough even with the courtyard. So we whittled the list down to 300 people and we allowed them, everyone a +1. So potentially you're looking at, you could have 600 people, which, you know, obviously not everyone's going to come. So I think about a week before the party, we were at like 160 RSVPs, I want to say.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, we had deadlines for the RSVPs, but of course, people just, especially realtors, just blow through those. And that was people who responded, and in addition, their +1s. So that was 160 people. It wasn't necessarily 160 clients. But then we had seen some clients out in the wild and been like, hey man, are you coming to the party? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm planning on coming. I'm going to bring 2 people. I'm like, well, you haven't RSVP'd.
Right. Or people say, oh, I'm bringing such and such. And like people are bringing 4 people. We're like, oh my God, we only
which is great.
Invited one,
but then, so we were like, okay. We finally got, by kind of pressuring people and, you know, sending some personalized text to people that we had a list of like, oh, these 10 clients have not responded, have not opened it, or they've opened it and not responded. We want to make sure it's on the radar that they come. And so we goosed it and got up to about 200, I think it was 202 RSVPs when we finally were on party day. And I think we were anticipating that there were going to be a decent amount of people who were going to come who didn't RSVP and bring people. So we were really prepared for like 250 people.
I started getting a bit nervous on the day of the party. Like once the bartender and the tacos started moving, I was like, the space started feeling small and I was just trying to picture 250 people. And it just, I was like, there's no way this is going to work.
Well, and the party was a 3-hour window. So, you know, we knew that people were not all going to be there at the same time. And of course, we also assumed that some people who RSVP'd would not come. You know, that's just how parties are, especially with realtors who are the flakiest people in the world.
Even though you texted them the day before, I'll be there. And so much of that happened. And so we didn't have a counter at the door. We didn't do any of that kind of thing. So we were really just going on gut. And between us and talking with the bartender and the taco vendor, we kind of came up with between 150 to 175 is what it felt like.
Right.
And it ended up kind of being the perfect number. Like at one point, at no point did it ever feel like, oh my God, we're getting squeezed in here. Yeah. You could still move around and talk to who you needed to.
I feel like we could. I would have been comfortable with another 40 people. I think it would have been okay. But it would have started to get tight. But people were mostly outside. I kind of thought that it would be a really indoor-outdoor party, but it was really mostly outdoor. That people, and of course we're temperate here in Southern California next to the coast. And so it was a perfect night for it. And
weather was awesome. People were by the music, by the food, by the bars. So that was kind of where the party was
anticipated kind of holding court in the little podcast studio area where my co-host for our other podcast, Real VC, was also here, that I was like, oh, we can be here and kind of, talk about the podcast a lot, but that just didn't work out that way. And if people just wanted to be outside, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was no big deal.
That's where the tacos and the music and the drinks were. Come on.
Yeah. We kind of, we definitely kind of toured people through and walked people through and showed them what was going on. And we had our green screen set up with Nikki doing our little animated stickers for people. And there were plenty of people that came in and really got into that. And Nikki was awesome. She wasn't feeling great, but she switched it on like she always does. And she was amazing. Yeah.
Well, we ended up being a bit shorthanded for the party because Marco day of got kind of sick actually.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't able to come, and he was going to do like the video. And then our other employee who was going to do photos quit a few days before,
like the week off.
It was a fun week.
We were a little shorthanded, so we don't have a lot of actually video or photos of the party, but it's all right.
Yeah. What did you get, Chelsea? Did you record some of it, or just kind of the pregame, or?
Yeah, it was more just the bar beforehand, and then like a little bit of footage at the party. But
luckily, for us, like plenty of our clients were like posting it and pushing it, and there was a ton of stuff that got put out to the community about it, which is good.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't want to have like Chelsea go do video and photos because it's like her job was actually to be here and schmooze.
Yeah.
And it's like most people, our clients know Chelsea, but they haven't met her. And so it was really important to have her out there. And especially as she's the creative director for branding, photography and branding services.
Yeah. Obviously we could have picked up a gimbal and done it, but that's not the important thing that we wanted to do. So it's like,
I wouldn't do that.
We just kind of let that go.
Yeah, for sure. And that was the right choice. And, cause we really just needed to be talking to people. And so the feedback, I've heard feedback afterwards from people. It's like, oh man, that just was such a great party.
Yeah.
And then the thing that everyone's saying is, oh, well, you're going to do one every year now?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I couldn't bring so-and-so. When are you doing another one? Yeah. Let's do it again.
Well, I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for sure. For sure.
We maybe not go as big next time.
I don't know. Yeah. So what was the damage? I think the damage ultimately, and we talked about this before, we had a bit of misunderstanding with the food. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but it was really we thought it was really going to be like no cost, or, we would tip people.
Small cost.
But it turned out, no, that was not the expectations on their side. So it was more like a couple grand.
But luckily the food was totally dialed, and people were talking about it like a week later. Those tacos, oh my God. Like it was like, that wasn't just a taco guy. It was like the whole taco setup. It was elevated.
That's the thing is everywhere has the, the little taco truck or the taco, cart that can come to the parties. But this was whole nother level with the fresh tortillas and
Exactly. And if we do it next year, they'll be moved in by then. So maybe we just do a select
they're going to have a restaurant
group
at Gasworks. So I want to say that it was like, I don't know, if we're not counting like the labor, like Chelsea's labor that we have to pay for, and like Marco wasn't here, but Nikki being here and the labor, I want to say it was like $800 to $8,500.
Yeah. Biggest thing being the booze and the food.
Yeah. Well, the bar was $3,200, and then we spent $1,800 on alcohol ourselves, of which we still have a lot left. So,
but I think next year, if we do it, we should just have it be like for our VIP clients and have a smaller guest list, since we're not announcing this huge grand opening, then we just scale it back and we can still do a party.
I don't know. I like to go big, man.
Well, go big, but it can be for a select group of people rather than wondering how many are going to show up and winging it,
Yeah, and we can do a setup like these bartenders, when I met them at another event, they had a setup where you walk in and get a free drink ticket. You use the drink ticket and then it turns into a cash bar. So that brings the major cost of the booze like way down.
Exactly. Yeah, there's ways we can do it.
We'll have our relationship with mothers and all that, so.
Yeah. So, remains to be seen. But yeah, I do think having events here, whether it's that type of party, and obviously we wouldn't have a grand opening party, but we have our anniversary party, whatever.
Yeah. Or we talked
fall
about
classic,
co-sponsoring it or collaborating with someone else who wants to get in front of our clients. Like there's ways to do it where we can use our space as maybe like a collaborative space to host things.
Yeah. And for sure, we can't have more than just one event a year. And I think we should. I mean, it's like people want to be here. And I think especially once the restaurants move in, it's going to be, people will be here just anyway. So
yeah, it's not really on everyone's radar yet, but it's getting there. And it's, once you get wind of it, it's like, man, that's the spot. Yeah,
no, for sure. And I think that I don't know that we'll make the $8,000 back. I mean, it's hard, and there's no way to track it, right? Yeah. And we talked to Jeff about that, our business advisor. He's like, it's just marketing costs, and you just don't know. But
what's the cost of staying top of mind and showing people that you're on top of your game? And it's like, like we said, we could have had a QR code and launched our branding and then tracked how many shoots we sold, but we're just not quite there yet. But it's like, so all the intangible stuff that just lifted our brand and the market, like, there's no way to get an ROI on that.
But now we're stuck in everyone's memory, so that's the most important.
Yeah, and just hammering through that we do have this space now, which I do. It succeeded in elevating our brand, without question. So which was ultimately the goal, and now people know, and we can launch the branding side.
Yeah, I had more than 3 or 4 different people come up. I'm like, oh, look at this, Mark. Look at all these people you're a client. Like. Yeah. They were kind of like, wow, this is like, you've built like this whole community of people. And it's like, that was pretty awesome. I know. And I think like our long time, I had one of my first, like literally one of my two first clients were here and have been for whatever, over 10 years. And Tanya was just like, I just can't believe how much I can, basically I'm so proud of how you guys have grown this, from like doing one shoot for her, 12 years ago or whatever. And like to build this, and it does. And I think not only does it put our clients in a space where they see us in a different light, but I think we see us in a different light. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I come here and come to work, it feels good. Yeah, feels really good. And it's like, it feels like a success for us, and our clients kind of enjoyed sharing that with us and being a part of that.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of, for me, the best takeaway was just like to feel that like that pat on the back, like, man, this is awesome. Good for you guys. And hey, have a drink, have a taco. This is a great night. And it just felt really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, success. So let's take a break.
Please.
Geez. Let's take a little break. We'll have a social media sidebar. We're gonna have a special guest come on in the second half for just a little bit.
Yeah, he's very colorful today.
Yeah, and then we have a we got action items. Man, do we have action items?
Oh boy, yeah.
All right, and by the way, we are drinking leftover booze during this podcast right now. So, all right, thank you. We will be right back. Aereo, Mark, we were just talking about it, and you just through just the general way the day goes, you said a really nice compliment about Aereo just a few minutes ago, right before we recorded.
I was like, oh, thank God they have this feature.
Yeah,
right.
Tell us about it.
We did a photo shoot a couple days ago. Weather wasn't great. Had to return, do the aerials, put the aerials in, uploaded it. Totally forgot to go and adjust the order to add the actual aerials to the order, but just sent them out. She's like, oh, photos look great. Thanks. Downloaded them. She's happy. And I'm like, oh, forgot to add them onto the order, and I already delivered them.
Right. And she'd already paid for the original photo shoot.
So she's like, oh, maybe I got away with this. I don't know. You just go into Aereo, put them in the order, and rather than having to re-deliver the photos to send them the download link to pay it, then there's just a little send payment reminder. So boom, just click that. They get a separate email. Oh, reminder, pay for this shoot.
Boom. And then we just got $185.
Yeah.
Just like
which then we can pay our Aereo bill with. But Aereo, it's a great value. And look, if you want to try it out, we heartily endorse it. Always, of course, it's the best way to help grow your business online. You can go to Aereo.com, and if you use the code Upmarket, you can get 15 free bonus listings if you're a new user. As we've said, probably 72 times now, because I don't know how many episodes we're in. It's a no-brainer. Aereo.com. Okay, so actually, I know we just talked about the party a lot, but I think for me, the biggest takeaway of the party was every goddamn person who walked into this space was like, is there a floor plan of this? They were just like, I mean, people cannot shut up about floor plans.
Yeah, they just want to visualize our space, so what they're walking into. I mean,
exactly. And you know, and they want to be able to make sure that they know we have the capabilities with our space to meet their needs. You know,
that's true,
for their photography needs and their podcasting needs. So, I mean, everyone's talking about floor plans. And I know we all agree that one of the best ways, or the best way that you can get floor plans is using Second Floor app, because you can, within just a matter of minutes, walk through an entire house, scan it, and then instantly have a floor plan with GLA that you can deliver to your client. And it's not only quick, but it's also accurate. It is using the LiDAR and the iPhone. I mean, this thing is like so accurate. So Second Floor app, it's a great way to have floor plans that you can sell as an add-on, and you know, that rush fee that you can get for your clients, it's going to pay for itself. But you know what? If you want to try Second Floor app, you don't have to pay anything. You can get a free month of service. If you go to secondfloorapp.com/upmarket, you're going to get a free month of service if you're a new user. It's incredible. So that's secondfloorapp.com, and that's all spelled out. secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. Social media sidebar time. So we are Upmarket.media across all social media, if you want to see our flagship stuff. But we're Upmarket Pod across all social media. And also get in there, rate, review. What else? Rate, review, subscribe.
That's the one.
Are you not subscribed? Are you listening to this and
on.
not subscribed to the podcast? What crazy
You want to be on
person
that
are you?
auto download? I mean, come on. You want to get it instantly.
Yeah, of course. So, social media wise, I think what's the big thing that's been for us? I don't think we've leveraged this space yet too much for social media.
Not much.
But
we have work to do.
We did today. We're working on something.
We're working on it.
That's what I want to talk about. So what we did today is we filmed a kind of casual, I don't know, it wasn't casual. We had a script and stuff, but we filmed like a kind of welcome video for our
teaser.
space. Yeah, a little teaser.
It's like the launch for people that have maybe heard us talking about it. What do you guys got going on? It's like, hey, here's the official launch.
Yeah, exactly. And then we kind of soft launched that branding again, which we'll talk about that more in the second half of the show. But so we had Marco here, and he's been, getting B-roll of us, and we had a little script. We'll be putting that on social media, because I do, without having that party video, we do need to hammer home that we are now at Gasworks.
Right. And there's a bit of confusion about what we're doing and offering. So it's like, I feel like we're starting to like kind of literally lay it out for people, what we're offering, what the space looks like,
exactly,
what to expect when you come in.
Exactly. So that is our big social media thing that we're doing. And then we've also been able to put out these cinematic Twilight videos that we've been putting out on social media and getting a little bit of traction. People are doing the wowzers.
They're amazing.
Those things.
That's the day to night transition stuff. And like, I do want to talk more about that maybe a little bit later, but we've really been seeing some good interaction with those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know something else on social media I noticed? Just I don't know how new it is. It's new to me on Instagram. You know how everyone says, links in the bio, links in the bio.
You're basically a boomer, so it's probably been out for a while.
Gray-haired boomer. Probably came out 3 years ago. But people always say link in the bio. You go to the bio and there's only one link, and then it links to some other feed with a whole bunch of links.
Right. Yeah.
But now Instagram, you can have up to 5 links like within the app.
The bio.
They used to be just 3, and they bumped it to 5 recently. So we can have a link in there to our course, a link to the podcast, a link to the website. We can have a link to all these things.
That's good.
And keep people on Instagram.
Because I have multiple OnlyFans accounts. because
we got room for that.
The problem before is like,
no.
you know, I would go to, I would automatically kind of send people to one, but you know, they might have slightly different tastes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Taking off the red shoes, the foot fetish one. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay.
Oh man.
We'll be right back, and we have a lot more. We're not going to do too much party talk, but we have a special guest, and we're going to talk about business stuff.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so in the second half, we can't talk about this party anymore. Let's talk about some business stuff. And we mentioned in the social media sidebar, but all of a sudden, back from the dead has been our cinematic Twilight video, which is basically, you know, a longer cinematic video with the day to night transitions we've been doing for a few years. And our old employee, Dustin, was the one who we really tasked with getting those going. And I think they're much more common now, but back then, not many people were doing them. And
yeah, that's back when the Australians were kind of figuring, and you know, we saw it online. We're like, whoa, what is this? Let's figure that out. So we figured it out with him.
And it hasn't been a product that's really gone gangbusters for us. We've done a few of them, but but then all of a sudden, in the last month, we've had 3 orders for them. And so we've done 3. And in fact, like last week or whatever, we did 2 in 1 week.
It was kind of wild, And I even tried one like in between. I did one like, that must have been at least a year ago now.
Yeah.
I shot it and Marco edited it, and that was the last one we kind of did in a while. So it was weird.
And so because we were doing this little social media video here before, we had Marco Guerrero is on site, you know, been on the pod a couple times at this point now. And who Marco, for people who don't know, is one of our shooters and has a background, a lot of video knowledge and stuff. So we tasked Marco with kind of reverse engineering the cinematic Twilight video. And honestly, man, Chelsea is the one who's really been going on.
He's doing amazing. You're killing it, Marco.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You look at it and you're like, I could probably figure it out. But to actually do it in person, when you have this narrow window of time for Twilight and dial it all in and repeat the shots. And
so how's it been, Marco?
It's been different, a little more challenging than our standard video. It requires a lot more thinking with figuring out what shots you're going to transition. For me, it's been pretty good. Just I'm really glad I'm able to have plenty of time to work on the video. So the last few that I've done, Mark and I have tag teamed on our shoots, and that's definitely been helpful. So I could just focus on video and he can focus on photos, Matterport, all that sort of stuff. But I've been enjoying them. It's been fun. Right.
Because, and I think part of it though is in kind of in the background, and we've talked about it on the podcast, is how you were like not that into video, and you were like, you know, the editing and everything else. And obviously we've been outsourcing editing for a while now. But I was a little like, okay, we can have Marco do this, but I don't know if he's going to like it because he doesn't like shooting video that much. Even though when we hired him, he was like, oh, I'm all about video. I love video.
About that.
I thought you were Mr. Video.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what changed. Like, I feel like now I'm starting to like video now more, and just definitely a little more creative than photography, I'd say, because you have to kind of do the same shots over and over again. Maybe this shot works better than another. So I'm starting to like it now. It's kind of weird.
I think that's showing through in the work too. I think that's why they're coming out the way they are.
Like we've done the creative. 3 right over the span of only just a couple weeks. And the first one was amazing, and it just seemed to like ramp up because you learned and you're like, you got more into it, I think.
We definitely, I got a link to one of those in the show notes, and definitely that last one that's not on the market yet, man, it was like killer. Well, so I hate talking about this kind of stuff, but like, I know, Marco, you were really feeling like adding in drone footage, like Twilight drone footage is really an integral part of this. And I think when we first did it, we were not doing that at all. But how are you doing that? And is there anything that you have to do differently to get that footage?
So one thing I recommend that we have is we have the Mavic 3 Pro that we're using. And that drone has a nighttime mode. So it does really well in low light. So luckily the last one we did, there was a beautiful sunset, nice pink skies. And we just got the drone up towards the end, and we just got some amazing shots. So yeah, so one thing I recommend if it's in the budget, getting like one of the newer drones, like the Mavic 3 series. They have the nighttime mode, and you get some amazing nighttime shots.
It's typically like a DJI Mavic or even the older one. It's just like that was their kind of their weakness was the low light, the nighttime stuff. It just they really struggle and fall apart.
Yeah.
And then what do you, because you're doing those transition shots with the drone. So then are you pre-programming a flight path?
So it was a trial and error.
Basically just to put out there, you're doing a shot in the daytime and then you're matching that shot at twilight and then kind of, transitioning into those. So how are you achieving that?
So we've done 3. The first one, I just kind of tried to like eyeball it. Like, okay, I have it kind of like this height, this far away. And then the second time I tried using waypoints, which that's a feature on the drone, which is you like select the point, start point, end point, it'll do that path. And then you can replay it again hours later. The second time I tried using waypoints like that, it's not perfect. It's a little off. So this third one, our last one that we did, I decided to start it and launch it from the same exact point. And then I set up the shot. And then I saw how high I was and how far I was away, like distance and height. And then I kind of like took a screenshot with my phone. And then for twilights, I got like the exact same height, exact same distance, set up the same shot, and then started it from there. And that seemed to work the best.
I think in theory, the waypoint thing should work. And it seems like the most obvious thing to do. It's repeatable. It's going to be the exact same thing.
But the GPS coordinates aren't always like perfect. And
the amount of time that you spent on the drone, setting the waypoints, redoing it, tweaking it, and then when you found to replay it, it's like, I can just do it by hand. It's quicker and closer. And
eyeball it.
When you're by the trees, it was, I don't know, it's just, So in theory, it should work, but it didn't really work in the field.
No. I think just measuring, just taking into account how far you are, how high you are, and then just taking a screenshot of like the shot that you're going to recreate and then just doing it later and kind of eyeballing it. That seems to work. There's some shots where they were a little further away. So it's just a matter of like zooming in some shots or zooming out some shots just so they match and blend in together perfectly.
Yeah. And you ended up shooting the drone footage in 4K. So you had that kind of leeway to crop in and manipulate things a little bit.
Right.
And we always, the shot doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because you can use a transition that kind of like,
because you can like do a shake transition. You're not doing the shake transition, but the transitions are a little bit.
It's like a dissolve type transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you get it close, it's all right.
Pretty good.
Because then in the other parts, you're hand holding on the Ronin, right? So you're also it's not going to be exact because you can put a marker on the floor where you are, but it's not going to be exact. Yeah. And then the other thing is in the low light too, the stuff that's on the ground. We were shooting with the iPhone. I remember you put in Slack. You're like, "Oh man, iPhone for the win."
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
crazy.
Here's what happened on the first shoot. I don't think I told you this. We went, it was way down in LA. We went down there.
Mark was that's right. It was south of LA.
I'm bringing my Sony. The dynamic range on this thing. We need this to get the window shots.
Marco, of course. Yeah,
he set up the whole Sony.
He's been kind of anti-iPhone. Yeah,
he was doing the whole thing. I was in the back, like shooting photos. I saw him setting it up on the Ronin, and then I hear, "Yeah, I'm just going to shoot this on the phone." Because you tried it, right? You tried it. You dialed it up. You were in 4K. You had all your settings, but it was just like...
I pointed the camera towards like the living room and the window, and the window was completely blown out. I took my phone out. You could see through the window. I'm like, I'm shooting this on the iPhone. It's just crazy how much dynamic range the iPhone has. It's insane.
Yeah, because I remember on the drive down, I'm doing it because we're doing this and that. We're doing it.
Yeah, this is a high-end video. We got to use the Sony.
Oh, yeah. Client was happy.
Yeah.
With the
I think all the clients. I mean, have we heard feedback from these or?
Oh yeah, everyone loves them.
Oh, okay.
No bad feedback.
Okay,
only good feedback.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And
we've gotten a little bad feedback lately.
The phone the iPhone, even the 15 Pro, whatever, it does fall apart a little bit if it gets too dark. There's a limit for sure.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
but just the speed and the quickness and being able to repeat the shot.
3 cameras on there as well. You don't have to change lenses. You could just tap like 3x, 5x.
Right. And when we're dealing with that narrow window of time, and what we've done is like I'm shooting twilight photos.
Right.
and he's shooting twilight video. Obviously I can't get in his shot. So I'm trying to do my twilights first, a little early. Then he's, well, should I do the drone first or the ground first? And we have this kind of system now that we worked out.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with a narrow window of time and 2 people and a drone, it's just like, it's so much to figure out.
I think you can definitely get away with shooting twilight photos earlier than you can twilight video, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of what we worked out. Yeah. And I've been doing twilight drone photos, so then it's like both the drones are fighting. It's just like,
I did that with we did when back in the day when Dustin was shooting one, we had that where we had both drones are up and it's like getting dark and you're like, oh my god, what's
who's in whose shot or whatever.
This is going to be a nightmare. But
and then the last one we did, the owner didn't quite know what was going on. She thought as soon as it hit sunset, the shoot was over.
Oh boy!
But we were just getting started, so literally the owner pulls into the driveway, opens the garage door, starts shutting off. We're like.
What's happening?
Yeah, that was fun.
And you're sitting there right before that. You're like, oh, we only have 10 minutes to get all these shots. Here comes the homeowner
with a takeout dinner.
Oh yeah, no, homeowners.
Yeah,
hate them.
Seriously.
Marco, anything else? So anything else? Anything else you've? I do want to note that. Here's what I want to note is actually you're wearing your safety vest right now on the podcast because you showed up today to shoot this video and you were wearing your safety vest. And on this one it says, and the back of it says FAA certified drone pilot, right? And I think we have brought this up on the podcast before. But why are you wearing the vest? And I know you're wearing it right now as kind of a joke, but you know, what's the idea behind it? Because you're not doing drone today.
No, I'm not. But I just feel a lot safer wearing the vest. You know, I'm walking around without the vest. I'm walking around with the gimbal and the camera, and it's like a black thing. So people might mistake it for something.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
And I feel like if you're wearing the vest, you look like you're working. You're doing something not suspicious. You know, so.
Right.
Even on some shoots where I'm not doing drone, I have to do I have to take photos, or even if you're taking twilight too, wearing the vest, you're able to be seen at night too. Right. So that's another factor.
A good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite often we're out on the street trying to get a front shot or whatever.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. But you have one too, that you bought on your own.
Yeah.
And I keep telling you that we always find out that Marco buys some equipment on his own. He's like, Marco, you got to tell us. We'll buy it.
He's like, I'm using my Ronin and my drone. I'm like, dude.
You have one that doesn't say FAA pilot on the back. That it's just a like safety,
you could just wear like
safety
a plain
vest.
one too, you know, as long as it's like something bright.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And honestly, it looks really good.
Appreciate that. I got a custom made downstairs.
I think it takes off a level of suspicion, or if people are like, what's he doing with that black case or that? It's like, because I walk into a shoot sometimes with a tripod on my shoulder.
Right.
People are like, what is it? Like, who is this guy? You're standing out in front of the neighbor's house and they're like, what is this guy? What are you up to?
I mean,
what's going on?
especially if it's like a tenant occupied building, you're walking around the back. Nikki the other day was doing that in LA. And she told me, I don't feel safe walking around the back. Like some of these people are asking what I'm doing, and I'm just going behind their apartment complex. There's no one here with me.
Yeah. Like if I looked out the window and saw someone in my yard, I'd be like, what?
Some
what's going on?
random person with my phone.
Well, even at that, even with the vest, you're still a little bit like, what the hell's going on?
But at least you look a little more official.
Yeah, there's situations like that where I'm like, I need to have the vest on.
Yeah.
Like, takes the edge off of it.
Well, no, and obviously we learned the last time you were on the podcast, you talked about that incident we had. And, you know, I don't know if you wearing the vest would have mitigated that, but maybe because, they come out and they're steam's coming out of their ears, but they're like, no, I'm a certified drone pilot.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm here. I'm not trying to hide. I'm doing an official job.
I can take pictures of you sunbathing. It's allowed.
Right.
I was standing in the middle of the street too. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, Marco, thank you very much for coming on the pod. I know you have some more shots to get, so we will see. Well, I'm sure you'll be on again at some point.
Yeah,
so.
And thanks for all the recent effort on the cinematic twilights and cranking out the quality
Thank you for
work,
having me.
You got it. All right. And so, look, the other thing I think we should follow up with a little bit on here, and we'll definitely have some episodes, I think, solely dedicated to it in the future, but is a kind of the update on the branding side of the business situation, because that was the soft launch, and then we talked about it in that video that we shot today. But to recap, kind of right before we had actually our branding photographer on the podcast a few episodes ago, and then with commitments, family commitments, it just wasn't going to work,
right?
Because she has three kids under 8 years old.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough
That's a lot.
time. And I think it was going to be more stress than she could handle.
Right.
So she
Understandable.
she bowed out, and that's totally fine. We put a lot of work into it, but I don't think it was for naught. And then she did that, and then just by kind of happenstance,
Total happenstance. Yeah. Totally random almost.
a friend of actually the guy who DJ'd our party, to talk about the party one more time, is also a realtor, and he was doing an open house literally across the street from my house. So, and he's been doing that place has been on the market for a few months, so he does them, and I'll go over and hang out. I went over to hang out, and there was this woman there, and John, the realtor, is like, "Oh yeah, she could be your next photographer." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then she's like, telling me about herself, and she's like, "Well, I'm a commercial photographer, and I've been working for 30 years, and like I've shot for, like Vanity Fair, Apple,
Domino
magazine, I just like
dropping names. Huh?
yeah,
We're
just
like,
dropping
whoa.
name after name after name after name, and I'm like, yeah, I can't. I think you're overqualified. I don't think this is gonna. I don't think this
We
is gonna
can't
work
afford
out.
you.
Yeah, we can't afford you. And she's like, no, I'm just broke. I just, I haven't been working, and I have this other source of income, but it's not quite enough, and I don't want to travel anymore. So I'm happy to do these, big jobs every 3 or 4 months that are like $10,000 to $15,000, but I also just kind of want some local income. And so I don't even care how much I make. I just want to do some work.
And that kind of commercial photography. You're either driving to LA or you're getting on a plane. It's just like, it's fun when you're young, but man, it's like a lot.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, man, do I have a job for you then? You don't care how much money you make.
Right.
Well, here we go.
I'm your guy. Yeah.
So we just had this kind of great conversation, and mainly about like doing real estate photography, because she lives up in Ojai, and we've been looking for someone to be able to pick up shoots up there, so we don't have to send everyone up there. But then I said, well, and also we just got this space, and we're kind of doing the launching branding photography, and she's like, oh, well, I could really help you with that.
Yeah. I can do that with my eyes closed.
Yeah, exactly. And so I checked out her work, and I was like, oh, you can do this.
Yes.
And so I just slacked Mark and Chelsea. I'm like, ooh, I think I found us a new branding photographer.
I know. I think it was like almost like by the way, I just ran into so-and-so, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. This is like,
because once Elena left, we were just like, well, Chelsea, you're just going to have to shoot it, because Chelsea has the photography background. And
it was really just that weekend. Like, we were like, oh, we'll figure it out. We're not going to stress about it. And then what happened?
Chelsea can shoot
was just
it.
meant to be.
yeah. It felt like we'd put all our eggs in that Atlanta basket, right? And then it was like, shoot, now what do we do? And we're kind of like in that like in between
mode. But we were
mode.
in party mode, so we were just like, whatever, we'll figure it out next week.
Exactly. And so we just formally met with her this morning, all three of us. I had just met her, and I think it went really well.
Yeah.
And
she's super
perfect.
talented, knowledgeable, like has insane experience. And
and is just a personality, and just is like, we'll have her on the podcast if it works out for her to work with us, and you will see. But I think she has some interesting perspectives too on
because we're still in the infancy of figuring out what it looks like, what the packages are, how we're going to offer it to people. And she was like, oh, well, you got to do this, and then we need this location, and she just was like spitballing with us and kind of filling us with new ideas. And it's like, after the meeting, I feel like, oh wow, this could like turn into something even bigger. Well,
and I think the great thing is we're really going to be able to, I think, market this in a different way than we could have marketed with anyone else we could have worked with, right?
Yeah. Now we have a high-end luxury product that we can sell for branding.
She
which
has
is
shot
what we've
for,
always wanted.
Literally, you can be like, she has shot for Apple, and shot for all these different list of clients. And, but here she is, she wants to work locally, and, their loss is your gain. You want to have a shoot with her.
Yeah. So now we have a level of confidence and a level of like service that we can, offer and like
and
really get behind.
And the great thing is she's not like, I need $5,000 per shoot. I mean, she's just like, oh, what do you think you can get? Oh yeah, you can give me this. Okay. That sounds great.
Yeah.
And for her, it's ideal because we have the client list. We'll just say the time of the shoot. She can just show up and do it. And then she can just send the selects, and then we'll do the editing. We'll do everything. I mean, she doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Other than just show up to the shoot. And she's like, oh my God, that just sounds like heaven to me.
Yeah. She's like, oh, that's the easy part for me. And we're like, oh,
Yeah,
match made in heaven. Like, yeah.
So I'm super pumped. Like I
I
can tell in the meeting, Chelsea was just like,
you saw my face. I was just like, yes.
The part where she said, I don't need an assistant. I don't need crew. I don't need
anyone else there
Chelsea's
with me.
like,
I was like, bingo. Because that's what we need. We need someone we can trust to just hold our name while she's out shooting and deliver the same quality of product that we see for this.
Yeah.
You know, we want people to up their marketing with us, and we can actually sell that with her. Whereas before, I feel like we were building it, but it would have been more like, we can do this for you.
Yeah. It was like building
now
it while we sell it.
Now we can really actually up your marketing with this.
Yeah.
Like this
and
is a luxury
And I think
product.
we could have before. It's just, we were all like in a learning process.
Yeah.
And here we can just have someone who's at the top of their game and
We're
has
starting
years
out
and years
strong.
of experience.
Yeah.
And it just is it's a different dynamic and an exciting one. And wow, it's just, I'm really pumped. I feel like it's
and she's
really
like, I have a great house in Ohio with white stucco and people can come to my house. And I'm just like, so
and
much
I
ideas.
love how
chill and
matter
cool.
of fact she is too.
Yeah.
And like, she takes the directive, and I think that is very much needed with the realtors to reel them in and get them like focused on what's happening at that moment. And not just doing every little thing that they're asking to do. And can we do that? I don't think she'll let that happen. She will take the reins.
Certain things won't
It
face
will
her,
happen
and she'll just take charge.
And that's what we need.
Yeah. So I think ultimately, having her do real estate is maybe something we should look at, but it's more about collaborating on the branding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess she's shot in properties and shot people, kind of environmental stuff, but not shooting the actual property. So I feel like let's lean into what she's really good at.
Yeah. And she was like, well, I've redone a few houses, and each one, I did the photos for them. And then I got them in Domino magazine every time. I was like, okay, well, that's great. Well, because I think that one of the things too, that's something we can even tout at a certain point of like, hey, we can do these editorial photos, and we have a track record of getting these in, certain magazines and stuff.
Well, and that's the thing. We do have some clients that are like, oh, we want, we want it to look like a magazine shoot.
Yeah.
We want those magazine shots, those style shots. So when they ask for that, now we have someone that we can specifically put on for that.
Yeah.
And that could even be a separate shoot. And just your regular real estate shoot, and then your editorial shoot.
Exactly.
New product.
Oh, our minds are racing.
Well, yeah, I know coming up at PMRE, there's a speaker, right? Who's
she's going to come on the podcast.
And,
I got to get that set up. So it's going to be, in fact, I got to text her. Anyway, so I think I feel like it's been a good couple of weeks for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're rolling.
Definitely.
The possibilities are there.
Yes.
Yeah.
On top of a good year, the market feels good. The bread and butter solid, like we've talked about.
This week
and all
was
this
super
other
slow,
stuff.
though.
Yeah, it was a weird week.
For shoots. But I think, looking at the calendar next week, it's probably already has as many shoots next week as we had this week. So,
And for me personally, because I'm still in the field shooting a lot, like I've felt like the last month or so, I've just been like 4 shoots a day, twilight. And I've just been like, boom, boom, boom. And like to me to get a couple days where I'm just like, have 1 or 2 shoots or a couple pickups here and there, that's felt like I can breathe again. So it's kind of been much needed for me. But obviously, we want to keep the ball rolling and keep that going.
I know. It's hard. But I feel like it was necessary after the event, too. I feel like everyone needed to just like
take a breath,
calm down a little and decompress.
That was the last week. Mark had a crazy week, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm fried.
just burning right now."
Yeah. But now he's a little bit. Hopefully, he's a little better.
Yeah.
Because man, if we lose you,
like Reed, I'm tagging you in, man.
I can't do it.
You're going to Santa Barbara for Twilight.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, and to do that, we would have to take action to do that. And that's not the action I want to take. But the action I do want to take is these action items, and which are sponsored by Pixel CRM. Pixel CRM is the only CRM out there that was designed by a real estate photographer for real estate media professionals. We've been using Pixel CRM And it's been great. And we still, and I think one of our summer projects is going to be diving more into Pixel CRM and having it do more for us. Yeah. But already all the stuff it does, we're doing our mailing list, we're doing the reviews, we're doing a few other things. I mean, it's been really fantastic. So go to pixelcrm.com/upmarket and you are going to get a risk-free 30-day trial.
I mean, come on, people.
Yeah. The one thing about pixelcrm.com, it's pixlcrm.com. There's no E. Mm-hmm.
It's the hip pixel.
It's the hip pixel. Pixelcrm.com. So I'm going to go first because I think I kind of floated my action item already and everyone's like, you already did that one. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
It's that good.
Because it's that good. I'm gonna do it.
Come on, double down on it.
But just looking at Marco sitting over there, which he's not there right now, in his little safety vest, and listen to what he said earlier in the podcast. My action item is to get those safety vests for yourself and for your employees. Obviously, as we've talked about so many times, the safety of our employees is the most important thing when we have people out in the field. And listening to Marco and saying how he has much more peace of mind when he's wearing the vest, whether he's flying the drone or not, that to me is, my ears were pricked up with that. Right. It's like, that is something that we really need to take seriously and makes a ton of sense. So, and it's like they're 10, 12, 15, 20 bucks. It's not a big deal. Go on, get the vests. And you feel like an idiot wearing one, I know, but it's always nice to have that handy. And
or you get a jumbo sized one for Nikki. Like,
that's
Well, Nikki in her vest, a few realtors have mentioned that to me. It's hilarious, but she still wears it. And I think she feels safer in it too. So
yeah. So do you have one?
I do.
Oh, do you wear it?
I wear it occasionally.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Certain situations, certain neighborhoods where I know someone's going to come out, then I'll put it on.
Oh, yeah.
And certain other neighborhoods where I'm like, I'm going to be there's Mark, bing, in his vest. I have to take myself out of every photo. Then I'm like, I'll just hide down here. Do my thing. So
exactly. We got to get Chelsea one.
Oh, wear it at my desk. Watch out.
All right.
I'll go next.
Okay. All right.
Let's hear what you got.
So mine is just to go in your Instagram and update your links or get your links in your bio if you don't have that going already.
Oh, good one.
You can make it
5 links.
Up to 5, but start with 3. Make it simple. Do your website, do your booking form, do your portfolio or examples of your work. So see how you can utilize all of those links as best as you can so that make it easier for your clients to find out what you do or book with you.
Have we done that?
Yes, we have.
Mark, look at Mark.
Okay, good.
Yes, we have. We can go to the podcast. We can book. We can go to the website. We can check out the course. All that stuff. It's all in there. Boom, boom, boom.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So my action item. Are we ready?
Ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So we had Marco here talking about the cinematic twilights, and he's been using his Mavic 3 Pro that he mentioned.
Right.
And just having the ability.
It's not actually Upmarket.
Right. He busted that out. I'm like, whoa, Marco. I'm like, we don't know that.
We're paying you too much.
Yeah. But he loves it, and he likes to bring his special tools for these certain jobs.
Yeah.
And cinematic, like twilight drone footage, just looks killer.
Right.
And most of the drones, like we said, just kind of fall apart as soon as you get into that twilight hour.
Yeah.
The graininess, you're just cranking all the settings, and it just doesn't look good. But that drone just holds up at night.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So my action item is to try to step into that and.
Yeah, there was that last shot of the last video we did with when you see the islands and the whole city lights. And I even showed Reed. I was like, man, look at this shot he got. That's amazing.
Well, it was in Ventura, and when it's clear, there's a view of the Channel Islands, the national park out there. And but
to get that at night, it's like,
it was
the
incredible.
Ventura Pier, the city lights.
And it was like purpley and it's beautiful. It's so good.
Yeah, and he was telling me about that on the shoot. We've been there for 4 or 5 hours shooting. Oh, you got to see the shot. I just he was,
it was so good.
I like to see him excited about that stuff and getting into it. Because we haven't always had that kind of energy, so it's fun to have that from employees. So I try to feed off of that and get them into it, and so
it's working.
Twilight drone footage is money.
All right, take it to the bank, people. I don't know that. How much is that Mavic 3 Pro? It's like 3,000.
Oh, is it?
I don't
know if it's up there.
I don't know.
You got the 3 lenses, so you can do tighter zoom shots, the night shot. I don't know if it's that much, but it's up there.
I haven't researched it.
Just throwing out numbers.
I don't know, 2,000.
We could have half a party for that much, man.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. Is it less than the bar? Because if it is, maybe we should do it. So, hey, thank you, Mark and
Yeah.
Chelsea
Thanks,
and
everyone.
Reed for doing a podcast. And also, of course, thank you to our listeners. Without you, we would be nothing. And now we're just a little something.
Now we're something.
And we will be back soon with a brand new episode. Next one will be PMRE episode. I swear we have a few to catch up on, so we'll do a few of those in a row. And there we go. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.